America has always had a love affair with wide open spaces, and even though the vast majority of the population now lives in cities and suburbs, we still have romance and nostalgia about country living, whether that's 10 acres or 110. After working on Wall Street for years, Michael Marx was ready to leave the city and suburbs behind. He and his wife Kathy relocated to this mountain ridge in upstate New York, surrounded by nature as far as the eye can see. Mike, describe to me how you ended up becoming a gentleman of the country.
We had a place up here, and it was always in the back of our mind that we wanted to do something a little different upon retirement.
They say you can't fight City Hall. What can't you fight here in the country?
Well, Mother Nature is probably the equivalent of City Hall in that regard.
So what do you mean by that? Like weather or wildlife?
Weather, wildlife, water, rain, things like that.
You've had a real war with the wildlife around here.
Yeah, specifically groundhogs, because they like the same thing I like, which is gardens. It's a balancing act. I mean, you're not going to defeat them, and you don't want to defeat them. It's just that you want to control them so there's some left for you when time comes to harvest. You have to be quite resourceful, in particular around water. Up here, you can either build multiple wells if you need to.
What kind of projects are you undertaking right now?
Planting Christmas trees, which is where the tractor comes in particularly handy. I tried to do it by hand a couple of years ago, and that didn't work out too well. Tractor was out of necessity from that standpoint, because you need, it's a matter of scale. There's a lot more to do up here. It's a lot larger, so you need power.
The stone walls, did you have any experience as a mason?
No. So it's a kind of trial and error thing, and the interesting thing about stone walls is that, stone is inflexible, but actually when you bring them all together, they're quite flexible. You can mold things and create things in that regard.
And once again, Mother Nature can do the molding for you if you don't have it set exactly right.
Oh, absolutely.
Winter does a number on your stone wall.
So if you're going to use stone, you need to use it in conjunction with Mother Nature.
So there's a lot of trial and error.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's no question that, if you're going to do this and go into it, you have to recognize that you're going to change things as you go along. It's not going to be fixed, kind of like marriage,
For Michael's wife, Kathy, the adjustment to country life was challenging. Okay, let's talk about some simple tasks, right? What is getting the mail like for you?
It used to be I just opened the front door and put my hand in and took the mail. Now it has become a trip, and it's something that the dog and I do.
How long is the walk to get the mail?
About 10 or 15 minutes. But it's not the distance, but it's a pretty strenuous hill. It's a pretty steep hill.
Do you find that living in the country is an endeavor that you have to be comfortable with yourself in order to do?
Absolutely. I'm a real people person. I lived in a neighborhood all my life. If it's a rainy day, I'll curl up and read my books. If I need to get out, I'll go down to the library or go to the school and substitute.
In the country, you don't need to go to a farmer's market. You just go to the farm. This farm produces milk, eggs, and all kinds of fruits and vegetables. How would you describe the impact on your physical activity living in the country?
I guess I am more active. On Long Island, I walked flat. I walked up and down the street. Now I'm walking up and down mountains.
Some families buy or rent in the country and get away for the weekend, but a full-time move can be a big commitment.
I've showed people places and pointed out a septic system and literally had them say, "What is a septic system? I have no idea what you're talking about." My advice is to just, be aware of the different pace of what's going on. Not going to be horns blowing here, horns blowing there, traffic everywhere, people bustling.
What do you love about country life?
Sometimes all you have to do is look out the window and realize how very fortunate we are and how beautiful nature is, and it truly kind of grounds you.
It can take time to adjust to the differences in country life, the solitude, the silence, even the darkness at night. So it's best to test it out as much as possible before you jump in and make that permanent commitment.